happy Friday. We started your week earlier on Monday with Monday racing, and now we're ending the work week with some more racing for you. But Keith, we just talked about that weather yesterday.
Oh,
How are
yeah.
I mean, talk about our first fake spring that we had. That was kind of the first indication of fake spring. But now the weather has cooled off just a little bit, but not bad at all. If just taking a look at that track, talking about the weather. Yep. Okay. Just I wanted to wait for that graphic to come up. 52 degrees for today, so it's climbed down a little bit since that 70 high, but still pretty good day today, Keith.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to dip a little bit more. I
Yeah.
saw the extended forecast, and there's still a chill in the air. We always get this, and I always tell the kids, that are playing baseball, the spring sports. I got a buddy of mine, his son's playing some high school ball. I said it never fails.
Yeah.
Trust me, early March there'll be some snow on the field. And I see that there's a chance in a couple days of some snow. So just the way that goes. But I hope you enjoyed yesterday. Anybody that was out there, it was great. The weather was really good. So, yeah, we're back at it. But we got a good day today. Got an 8-race racing card, and I'm ready to roll.
A couple of nice races coming up, but we just talked about it. That late pick 5 hit,
Yeah.
a payout of just a take over 39,000 in that late pick 5 on Monday racing. So let's see what we can come up with you for today. Of course, race number 1 starts the early pick 5 with that industry low takeout, and it starts in this claiming 16,000 event, going 7 furlongs on the dirt, which have never won 3 for the 4-year-olds, and up scratch in the number 4, looking for justice. Keith, you land on the number 5 ampersand. This one is for Anthony Ferrier. Gets Alnardo Boca Chica.
Don't bump into him. You might catch on fire. That guy is
Exactly.
just rolling right along. It's Farrier's world. We just want to be him. That's it right now. I tell you, I do. And my wife says, why can't you be more like Tony Farrier? I said, well, I just can't. It's just the way that it is. You're stuck with me. So, yeah.
We're happy with you, though, Keith.
Ampersand, takes the drop. The big plummet here has been off a little bit. Has some issues getting out of the gate. Last time out, you see the comment, dwelled at the break, tried to go 5 wide into a really slow pace. If he breaks and keeps in touch of what I think is going to be an honest pace, he should be able to go on the attack mode with a barn that's rolling right along. He's 8 for 21 over the last couple of years with this kind of drop as well. So 31%. Recently, you've seen he's just winning at a big clip with 3 wins the other day. So, yeah, I don't love Ampersand, but just the way the barn's going, I think he might be able to rally past. If you're looking for a horse that's really in form right now, it's your top selection. Call Me Maestro for Damon Dilladovico.
So the biggest question about Call Me Maestro is this one's taking inside pressure for the first time. Now, while this one is able to get up there relatively quickly, between getting inside pressure for the first time and one who dwelt at the gate last time start, that's really what was my tiebreaker between those two. Again, I'm going off of what your thoughts are with the number 5 ampersand, but with this one, Call Me Maestro, just coming and continuing at a nice clip, and just enters in for the, just won the 16 numbers at 2, goes in for the 16 numbers at 3, going to handle that 7 furlong distance, no problem.
Yeah, playing right through the conditions. I like the way that this one took pressure from both sides early. When he went clear, under submerging at the head of the lane, he was really resolute to the wire, fully extended, a little drift. But I like the way they're just kind of playing this horse, holding at the 16 level and going on. I think he'll have to maybe track Young Turk. I think Young Turk is going to be your speed with Perez. The horse that's had some trouble the last couple of times, Crimson Rocket. But on his best, I think can be in the mix here. We've got video, do we, of his most recent start. And you see the last 2 trouble lines. Bumped, tight start, steadied at the half, and then most recently, tight at the break, angled 4 wide and trying. There it is again. So it just comes out he was a little high-headed coming out of there. Just kind of gets banged around from both sides. He makes a pretty good move, a middle move, 4 wide into this pace before flattening out and had to, move into a quick pace. Brion is very fast. Romer, who's on kind of the improve of 68 in allowance. So cleaner break for Crimson Rocket. I think he can kind of stalk and move into it.
Absolutely. So Keith Fusel goes 5-1-2-6 there in the start of the early pick 5, and now we get to the start of the early pick 4 in race number 2. And Keith, how does your ticket look today?
That's a cheapie.
There we go.
Listen, these are for my friends that are like me with very little funds. $12.
But
we
listen,
can scrape it together.
You hit some of these. You hit
Oh,
these
yeah.
occasionally,
Yeah.
and you make bank. So this is great. I love it. So
I
go
just
ahead.
couldn't quite on this card come up with like big prices. So I just let's just keep this reasonable. We're not trying to hit a home run. We're just trying to get some money to burn and churn for down the road. So
I like
3-6 to get it going. Damon, Nadagar, and Patriotic Party in leg one. The 1, 2, 3, 4 in race number 3. Kind of like Storm and Amanda shipping north in there. Race 4 with the 3, 5, and 6. They look like the 3. And I'm going to single. You know, it is a good race. It's 2 other than. You can't sleep really on anybody. Doppelganger and Shaft's Bullet are going to be kind of the main attractions in race 5. But
Yep.
I like the way Shaft's Bullet's run his last 2. Has he run a little too hard? Because he had, I mean, big efforts just to miss last time. We'll see. But I'm going to take a shot with him.
I like the faith. There we
So
go.
we'll single old Shaft's Bullet.
And there we go. Keith Fusel with a $12 ticket to get things going. Race number 2, it does start this early pick 4 in this claiming 40,000, which have never won 2. Going 7 furlongs for the 7-year-olds and up scratch in the number 1, Pudge Boy at Palace. And that, let's go ahead and take a look at Nadagar. Our top selection for Damon DeLavico gets Jamie Rodriguez today.
Yeah, this is the race going 2 back on the 18th of December, off the long break. Trouble out of the gate, a little slow. This horse is kind of sometimes can get a little tendency of breaking a little sluggishly. He's able to kind of make his way up forward and does it well within himself, and is going to be able to force the issue from the turn. He battles inside of under the radar from basically the 5/16 pole to the wire, just to come up a little short. Under the radar is a horse that is now in the Nest Barn that most recently won that allowance, right?
Right.
We had that
Yes.
value. So that was good. So the race at Parks, I'm going to toss. Sloppy Sealed Service, I think it was a little bit maybe of a reach. It was a tougher spot, and you could not close on that racetrack, basically. That, I think there might have been a horse in the last at big price that did. That racetrack, once he was in that position early off of it, he wasn't going to make up any ground. He
Right.
tried to the wire. I mean, I know he was beating 12 lengths, but he still showed some effort. That's why you have to watch the videos. Cleaner break today. I think he's going to be able to track and make that move into his stablemate, Patriotic Party, who gets definite relief. Look at the company he's kept. We talked about Shaft's Bullet and Airport. He's speed from the outside. Catch him if you can.
There we go. And he has a position to do that on the outside post. I just need to see it again. The blinkers on will help. This time, interesting, Karamanos keeps the ride, retains the ride, which makes things look even better for Patriotic Party, of course. Keith, you also have the 1A underneath, who's going to be breaking from the 6 post in Practical Sense for Hugh McMahon. New Bug Boy coming in, Axel Concepcion coming in. Last time out, this is a first in the barn off of the, Hugh claimed this horse first last time out. So first in the barn off of that effort. If he can keep what he did last time out, things are looking pretty good for the new Bug Boy.
Yeah, looks fine. Looks like a horse that's going to be able to kind of stalk and move into it. Fourth came back to win, so he's an improving type of horse. Keys up against the right kind. The only hindrance there, and this is odd for a barn that I know used to claim and win rate. First off, the claim is a low percentage move right now for the barn. So, but the horse looks fine, and I think he's going to be okay in here.
There we go. Race at number 3 now starts the Rainbow Pick 6 since we have 8 races on the card today. And I couldn't come up with anything crazy either with my ticket, Keith. I couldn't find a single just because I'm a bit too intrigued. We have a couple of nice runners coming up. So too intrigued by that race 3. Of course, double down on the 1 and the 4. Dulce Kiera and, that was race number 3. Race number 3, sorry, Maria from Miami, Tinseltown Tina. Race number 4, I go with the 1 and the 3, Izzy Bella and Dulce Kiera on the inside just for a little bit of security on there. Race number 5, 3 and 6, Doppelganger Shaft's Bullet. Why not? I am not going to play. I'm not even dipping my toe into that game of singling in on one or the other.
Okay.
So you're very gutsy on your single and your early pick 4 ticket. Race number 6, I go 1 and 2. Mr. Hustle and Prairie, big scratches in that race. So I had to come up with something I could trust a little bit in there. And of course, I'd maybe go down to 2 horses, my top 2 selections there. Race number 7, 2, 4, and 5. Response time, She's a Little Edgy and Princess Kokachin. That's going to be a nice, interesting battle. And then in our nightcap, I go 2 deep with the Gwynedd and Red Wine Time, another big scratch in that race. So I keep it under $20. I follow your lead a little bit, so I'm trying to keep it cheap. I try and keep it cheap when I can, and this is kind of certainly a day to do it, as Keith mentioned. Kind of supply the bankroll a little bit to
Get back in the flow, Callie.
Exactly.
We had a long week last week.
It was a long weekend, so we're back in it. We're back. We're all refreshed and ready to go, and it starts in doesn't start, continues in race number 3 in this maiden claiming 45 for the straight 3-year-old fillies going on the dirt. Keith, you go with the number 2, Storm and
Yeah.
Amanda. You mentioned this one earlier, comes up from Tampa. Really impressive enough to get the attention perked.
Yeah, horses moving into the Salazar barn. It's been a profitable move, ROI, closer to $3 the last few years. So I like that move. This is going to be a second time Lasix, fresh north, coming north. Good effort last time, despite, and I went back and always read the longer footnotes too if you have time. This horse broke through the gate prior to that race. That takes a lot out of a horse. A lot of times you don't even see horses run as big as she did. She was there, made the move outside, just couldn't quite go by. And number maybe slightly inflated, but good enough. I think you're going to see a constant aggressive ride. If this horse breaks well, I think just go ahead and go on with her early.
Absolutely. That's I like that take on it, and I like the take. I know Tim Talk's going to come up with the angle of coming down south to up north, but this one has been in Maryland for a little bit, but still working out in the mornings. Being in the afternoon, the race is a little bit of a different situation. So still coming from that south to north angle with that.
She belongs here. She's a Maryland bred, right? So going to be able to be protected, with the waiver in this condition. So yeah, and the pot probably a little bit better than what it is down the road. So if I'm an owner, surely give me the money if I can get it. I'll throw the 4 in there. Tinseltown Tina, I thought ran quite well. I had a little note, Callie, on the 3rd of February that center of the track was maybe a little bit better, especially early. This one I thought ran pretty well, moved up in between, but then got kind of bogged down on what I thought was the worst part of the racetrack that day. I like the effort, kept on willingly. I'll use this one, maybe kind of turn the tables on your top selection, Maria from Miami.
There we go, and let's get to Maria from Miami. Brittany Russell, Javion Toledo coming off of that last effort at the 7 furlong, so cuts back in distance today, and that's really my biggest angle because the first thing that just caught my attention when looking at this, I saw the 5.5, not quite getting there at the 5.5, and then I saw the 7 furlongs. Might have been a bit too much at this stage for this one, so we find that happy medium of the 3/4 distance, and that's solely what I land on. This one has been able to take a little bit of pressure, so biggest indicator is that race 2 back when she got this horse from Rudy. First time in the Brittany Russell barn from Rodriguez. Was able to take a little bit of outside pressure with that. So I'm throwing in a little bit of faith there too.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, and you flattered a little bit with the way Celtic Revival came back to run second in the Open 40. You can't leave out 5,2 the way Corrales is going right now. His horses are running well and may come out of a little bit stronger field. Angel Art, how sweet she is, came back to run second in a maiden special weight. If she gets a little contested pace, she may be the one that fires from just off of it.
There we go. 4 nice ladies there in that maiden claiming effort. Race number 4 is the starter optional 12.5, going the 1-turn mile on the dirt for the fillies and mares at 4 years old and up. Keith, let's go ahead and take a look at our shared top selection. Isabella for Andy Simoff coming second off of the layoff with J-Ron Barbosa on top.
Again, here's that February 3rd where I thought inside maybe just a little off. She was 3 wide, interesting, under a little bit of pressure early. Just kind of right now to the 3/8 midway on the turn here at this mile. 7/8 distance. Doesn't look like she's really going anywhere.
Right.
And then all of a sudden gets further out in what I think might have been the better part of the racetrack and just levels off from there. And she's able to kind of reel in horses like Dancer's Melody and go clear. Unrequited Love of Speed type there for Kieran. So that, this was a good re-rally. Back in the barn is Simoff, who used to train this filly. So I think a lot of things added up for her this particular day. But watch that stride out late. She's kind of getting it. The extra ground's going to work for her. She'll like the mile distance.
I do. I appreciate. So I appreciate a couple things that you picked up on. That the striding out at the end of it to indicate is going to be handling this distance, this a bit further distance here today. And then on top of that, what I love about your assessments is that you're able to your notes on the track from what's playing well, what's not, and being able to keep track of that. So keep an eye out when Keith says something about the track. He's seeing it every single race day, so he knows how it's playing, so that fares well with Isabella. You also have the number 6 unadulterated for Ricky Silliman. Why not? Charlie Marquez takes the reins on this one again, keeps the starter optional 1-turn mile last time out. Do you have much of an excuse for this one?
Not really. I mean, she's just kind of regressed, it looks a little bit. Maybe this little drop into this spot picks her head up when she's right. she beats these,
Right.
and she's going to be able to sit and move into it. I have to throw her in there. Same thing with Woody Banner. Dulce Cara looks like the speed. Going to go first time for Charlie DeMario. Probably will set sail from the inside. She could go a long way in here. I left her off to my ticket. If you can afford to throw her in, you saw the $12 ticket, maybe do so, because she will go out there and be the target for these other runners.
And let's see if she can still hold on to that, extending from this, from all of this extending to the one-turn mile. So I don't disagree with you. I am taking a bit of a chance here, especially since she's on the inside. She's been able to handle that type of position before, but it's the stretching out that kind of concerns me a little bit. But hey, let's go ahead and take a shot. 9-2.
Okay.
Why not? But and we will be right back to talk about the rest of Friday's card after this commercial break.
Introducing the first racing tool from Pegasus to Preakness. Iconic venues. World-class racing. Millions at stake. New champions will be crowned. Only at first.
And before we know it, Preakness is going to be around the corner, but we're still in February. So while it's warm and we're thinking springtime, we're still here for winter racing for you guys. Race number 5 is this allowance optional 40, going the one-turn mile for the 4 years old and up. Keith, you've got the number 6 on Top Shaft. Of course, your best bet of the day, Shaft's Bullet. Really trying hard, throwing in some wonderful races for Gary Cap.
Obviously, lightly raced 4-year-old. I love the way the debut run came that particular day, going back in February of 22. Returns and just a big effort to beat Frightland. Big field again when going up into the 2 other than and condition, and just lost a heartbreaker. Made a quick move. That second quarter was quick into that and just couldn't quite get it done. I think Shaft's Bullet, just hold that form, and I think he can maybe get by Doppelganger. I think he might still offer a little bit better price as well, and maybe he has a little bit more positional speed going back here to the one-turn mile, something he was really comfortable with 2 races back. Video in your top selection, going to be a lot of people's top selection.
Right.
Doppelganger, second time in the barn for Brittany Russell.
Yes, let's take a look at that last time effort with Doppelganger while this horse was in the Brittany Russell barn, if we could. But just talking about this one, of course, a lot of flash, a lot of show. If we could get that video waiting, this one came from the barn of Baffert. Barn of Baffert came over, had some time with Brittany, had the layoff, got back into Brittany's barn, and proved well. A nice work on February 19th, kind of leading up after. Kind of shows that this horse is doing well after that really nice effort. And here's the biggest question: is obviously comes down over here to Maryland. Runs against an okay enough field. It was an okay enough field, but I think Shaft's Bullet is really going to be a good challenger for this one.
I thought Doppelganger was a horse that was going to maybe make it to the Derby. I thought he was showing that talent. He had trouble down in the Arkansas Derby against Cyberknife. They ended up and go to the Pat Day Mile and just didn't really fire there. So a little bit of regrouping. Came east and performed very well. I guess we don't have a video for
not.
Doppelganger, but I will tell you what happened. It was a very patient ride by Toledo that day, and boy, did he level off. He didn't really get into him a little bit till about the 8th hole, but he had something left, reeling in Nostalgic Run, reeling in the Lone Speed, who came back to win next time out. 6-3-1-4, I think Nautilus is a horse that has shown versatility in the past. He's okay. He'll bounce back off of that effort, and even 110. You look at the 2-back try in this condition, 5 wide after starting early into a slower flow. If he gets a little help up front, he likes this 1 mile distance to make that run.
There we go. Keith Fusel, 6-3-1-4 in race number 5. Race number 6 is an allowance optional claiming 40, going the one-turn mile. Excuse me, I just repeated that race. Let's go ahead to race number 7.
Nope, we're going to go to the 6.
We are on the 6. Sorry,
Yep.
I got a text and I lost my train of thought. So, sorry, allowance optional claiming 40, 4-year-old and up, one-turn mile on the dirt, scratch in the 5 Golden Gully, and scratch in the 8 Classier, who was the favorite in that field. Keith, let's talk about Locomotive, who you have as your value play of the day. I have this one underneath. Gets the blinkers on, and that I think is a big change-up for this John Salzman Jr. trainee with J.D. Acosta on top.
Yeah, it's a smaller sample here, size showing a little bit of profit. I'm not terribly concerned. But you got the scratch of Classy or Golden Gully. I thought Classy would probably kind of maybe try to provide that speed from the outside, but Locomotive has got to turn a foot in his own right when he really needs it. He might have to deal with Treasure Tradition, so it's interesting to see how that first quarter of a mile is going to go. Does he take a rating hold? Does he go and try to take the lead? I think he works here. I think he's going to slip away at an okay price. He's not going to come way down off of that 8-1.
Right.
Maybe if we can get 7-2-4, I'll take that. Okay. But his try at a mile, caught wide against Zabracadabra, really good horses. I think better horse than what he's going to face today.
Right.
Locomotive, a forward factor, a long way in here.
There we go. You also have number 6 underneath, Dixie Drawl for Norman Cash, William Humphrey.
Yeah.
The only thing I had against this one is that this one just ran on the 17th, running a bit short, but fits in this field.
Yeah, he got kind of put into the race because he had to. We talked about it. There wasn't a lot of flow that day. Got up early, stalked inside, but when the other ones had some run to go away, he just couldn't keep pace with them. He's going to come from a little bit further back today. Again, he could be a little bit of a victim of the flow, but I think he's okay. We know this market can bring him back quick. His other numbers in the past work here. And, again, he might slip away at an okay price just based off that fig last time. But tough little race. Mr. Hustle seems to be like he got a perfect setup to grind into it. Going out to a mile, I want to take a little bit of a wait-and-see approach for him.
Sure.
I may throw him underneath. And Prairie's okay.
Talk about, yes.
Yeah, I think Prairie's all right. His two-back try against, stakes kind of horse, I think, it's Mythic Spice down at Tampa, albeit it was off the turf. But he's got a rating gear. He's also tactical, and he's got a finish. Interesting move, turf to dirt, coming back up. Could be fresh and ready to roll. But I'm going to key around a Locomotive for Salzman Jr.
You heard it here. Value play of the day for Keith Fustel in race number 6, where he goes 4-6-1-2. I go a little bit different. I go 2-1-4-6 in there. Race number 7 is an allowance, going 5.5 on the dirt for the girls, 4 years old and up. Scratch the number 6 college kid. And Keith, you have the number 3 on top, Chitara, for Ignacio Carreras, Horacio Caramano. So we've got a video spotlight on this one back at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, back at the fairgrounds, off of a little bit of a break. I mean, we're going back a ways, but this shows me the ability of being fresh and be able to kind of come just off the pace and make that move. When this mare gets good, she gets real good, and she's going to be able to sustain and go by a horse by the name of Euphoric. Euphoric, a horse actually going to outrun. Euphoric makes this move into it. Was a horse we saw at Pimlico in the Miss Preakness. Okay, a good effort there, decent number. So she's kept the right kind of company. You see runs against Fiat Esprit, Chubb Wagon, fresh. This is the key to me. A lot of speed in here. She showed the ability to rally into it. This stat kind of put me over the top. Carreras, last 2 years on the dirt, 5 for 11, 45%. Callie, 9 for 11 in the money with these dirt sprints. First after a 60 to 180 day layoff. Look at that ROI.
Oh, wow.
Powerful, 629. It's a good field. I like this group with Princess Coca-Chan coming back. Response time, they were a hell of a horse race last time, right to the wire.
Right.
That was good. And Whiskey and Rider provides speed along with She's a Little Edgy. Maybe the benefactor is Chitara. We'll see.
And I like that. I like that angle of not only are you taking this wonderful return on interest rate, investment rate, excuse me, $6.29, but this one with her as an individual comes well off of the layoff. The last time we saw this one was back in late October, so has plenty of layoff, ready to rock and roll. There you go. There's another I think might be coming at a nice price for Keith Fustel. I, of course, go with Princess Coca-Chan on top. It's hard. Again, with those two, it's hard to argue against both. Listen, this is a good group of girls. So the separate, we're kind of really splitting hairs here. And so this filly, she's going to be going to the lead. She gets the outside post. Whiskey and Rye will also be putting some pressure on her early on. Whiskey and Rye, I think, is very interesting in this field, especially getting luck with that outside draw. But back to Princess Coca-Chan, coming second off of the layoff. And this is one where Jerry Robb excels at. He's, as of lately, hitting at 27% with second after the layoff, 12 for 44 with that consistent place and show after that. So, again, we're going to be seeing this filly. Let's talk quickly a little bit about the 4. I want to hear your take on She's a Little Edgy for Gustavo Rodriguez gets Arnaldo Boca Chica.
Yeah, second back, another one with speed. She can go 7/8, so turning back to 5.5. Does she quite have the gate speed, maybe of a Princess Coca-Cola Whiskey and a Rye. I'm not so sure. She's going to have to really kind of come out of the gate clean and avoid any kind of trouble that first eighth of a mile, 16th of a mile to get in a spot where she's comfortable. That's the key. She's shown she's able to kind of dog it out. She's improved in this barn. The numbers are going the right way. But I agree with you. Princess Coca-Cola, that second off the bench kind of stat for Rob, sticks out. She needed the last. She ran really, really hard. Take nothing away. Response time was relentless. I mean, just kept grinding and grinding. But we'll see from her position inside how that affects her into the turn. Can she get that position and hold it? That's going to be tricky for her. She had a nice little go last time. Nobody really bothering her. She might have a little bit more adversity to deal with in this particular race.
And this is going to be that type of race where you're going to find out who is the most adverse because everybody's going to be fighting for the same spot there in race number 7. And our nightcap of the day is a claiming 16,000, which have never won two, going the one-turn mile here at Laurel, of course. For the girls, 4 years old and up, scratch in the 5, Annihilate. Keith, you've got the number 6 on top, who I have in my exacta. Red Wine Time gets the blinkers off for Rudy Sanchez-Selman and Ty Pustina on.
Yeah, back to this low. I think this is going to work. She's one that doesn't have a lot of speed. You get a little bit worried when you see the comment from the start, 2 back, hesitated at the break. But I think she can kind of sit back with an okay break and just run her race and close down. She just was reaching a little bit. I thought she was bet down, closed in. I think they just want the win. The barn is winning again. And with horses like Haunted Room in there to provide some flow, even Sapphire Beauty, the other Rudy, to maybe help set things up for this closing kick. I think she's going to get it here. I think Performance Anxiety is going the right way for Hammy, and no doubt she's going to enjoy what's going on in front of her. But, 6-7-2. Gwinnett, good. You saw the way Totada came back. I didn't see that race coming, but she came back again and ran big. So she can move third off the bench. She held very well last time out. And
that was exactly the angle that I went for, and that's our wrap-up here for Friday's race card that we've got going on. And let's go ahead and get to that lightning round to talk about Keith's. Get a little bit, again, recapping your value play and your best bet of the day. Yeah. And let's go ahead and start with your – do you want to start with your best bet?
Yeah, best bet. Won't be a whole big price or anything. Right. Probably in that 8-5 range, the 9-5 Shafts Bullet for Gary Cap. Third now off the break. The talent is there. I think he's got a little bit more positional speed. Doppelganger. This could be a really good stretch run here in race number 5. Value play. We talked about the scratches in race 6, but Locomotive, I think, still holds a little bit of value with the blinkers going on. He's a gamer. I think he'll get the right kind of trip today forward. He's hampered a couple races back going long when caught wide. He may have to deal with Treasure Tradition that first quarter of a mile. Let's see if he can kind of relax. I think he can grind it out.
I think he finds the right field today. I think it's a good value play pick for today. And let's talk about a couple of other values that we have here in Maryland. Of course, the Renaissance Awards coming out. It's going to be, the announcement schedule is going to be on our social media channels, Instagram, Twitter. But keep an eye out. So Monday is going to be Monday, February 27th. That starts. So they are going to announce one winner a day. So they start with the 2-year-olds on Monday. Tuesday, and the 2-year-olds and the 3-year-olds. Tuesday, they go with the Maryland bred champion, older male, older female, turf runner, sprinter, and steeplechaser. Wednesday, they go with the Maryland bred horse of the year, the broodmare of the year, the stallion of the year, and the breeder of the year. Thursday, they have the Maryland Jockey of the Year, the Trainer of the Year, and the Owner of the Year. Friday, back here for races again, is going to be the announcement of the Maryland Dirt Male, Maryland Dirt Female, and Turf Male and Turf Female and Claimer. And then Saturday, which I love, they're going to give special recognition of Pimlico and Laurel Backstretch Employees of the Year. And so maybe I'll get in, maybe on Sunday to wrap things up, I'll highlight who those finalists are so you kind of get prepped up for what you're going to see later today. And let's also talk about Eastern Bay was the horse of the weekend, last weekend, of course. But one more thing that I wanted to highlight about him is that he joins the Millionaires Club, and he did that last Saturday in the General George. As we both talked about, this horse just is an absolute war horse. He's been through a couple of different barns, so just have really been enjoying his success.
Just likes to run, it looks like. Yeah. Old Easter Bay's been a cool horse, no doubt.
Super cool horse. And with that being said, we are going to head over to another cool one. We're going to leave you to Dave Rodman to talk about some more changes and scratches.
All right. Good luck, everybody.